Hi guys, we're going to learn about 2-5-1s today. Now the progression I just played was a typical 2-5-1. Okay, so what's 2-5-1s? Let me deal with the theory aspect first. The 2-5-1 is a progression derived from the cycle of fifths. So what's the cycle of fifths? The cycle of fifths is a progression in which the root moves down in successive fifths. Okay, so here's the catch. We're moving in fourths, so if I'm in the key of C, what will be my 4? That's F. In the key of F, what will be my 4? That's B flat. The fourth of B flat. The fourth in the key of B flat is E flat, and so on and so forth. Now the cycle of fifths is a very important progression in jazz, so I would expect that you'd take your time and really learn it. Okay, now let's talk about 2-5-1s. Now the 2-5-1 progression is derived from the cycle of fifths. Okay, so for example in the key of C, literally using, let's start on the 2. The key of C, the 2 is the D, the 5 is a G, and the 1 is the C. Okay, so that's what we mean, the 2-5-1. Now that's just a piece of the cycle of fourths or the cycle of fifths. All right. Now there are two types of 2-5-1s, the major 2-5-1 and the minor 2-5-1. Now basically the difference has to do with the 1. So the 1 could be a minor or the 1 could be a major. So let's try a major 2-5-1 with the chords that we know. So on our 2, we'll play a D minor 7. On our G, which is a 5, we'll play a dominant 7. And on our 1, which is a C, we're going to play a major 7. So that's the 2-5-1 major. D minor 7, G dominant 7, and a C major 7. So think of it this way. The 2 is always a minor 7, the 5 is a dominant 7, and the 1 is a major 7. Okay, so let's move on to the minor 2-5-1. It's going to be the same 2 minor, a dominant 7 on the 5, but a minor 7 on the 1. Okay? A minor 7 on the 2, a dominant 7 on the 1 on the 5, sorry, and a minor 7 on the 1. Okay. Now there's a variation of the 2-5-1 minor. Okay, let's look at the minor scale of C. Okay, now here's a D minor. If you notice, this note sounds a bit dissonant from the C minor scale because we have this. So we need to resolve this to get this note. So our minor, our D minor 7 will change to this, which is known as the minor 7 flat 5. The minor 7 flat 5 chord. So we're playing the minor 7, a D minor 7 flat 5, which is also known as the half diminished chord. The half diminished chord. Okay, so let's try that with a minor 2-5-1. So we have okay, I think this sits well in my ears, so we're going to maintain this. The half diminished, the dominant 7, and the minor 7. Okay, so let's do a quick revision. We have our major 2-5-1s and our minor 2-5-1s. So let's try the major 2-5-1 again. So we have a 2 minor 7, a 5 dominant 7, and then 1 major 7. Now for the minor 2-5-1, we have a minor 7 flat 5 or a half diminished, still a dominant 7 on the 5, and a minor 7 on the 1. Now it's time for some fun. Let's play around with 2-5-1s. Okay, so for example, what I played in the beginning. That's a typical example of a 2-5-1. So here I am playing the 2-5-1 in the key of C using the cycle of fifths, but I'm sticking to the notes in the scale of C. So the first chord I did was a 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. Okay. Okay, now let's take a song, for example. Let's say Here I Am to Worship. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God, you're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Now we're going to try and apply 2-5-1s to help make this song sound rich and make you sound like a pro. Okay, now we're going to try the minor 2-5-1 and the major 2-5-1. Okay, so let's start with the major 2-5-1. Now we need to search for a major chord on which we can play a 2-5-1. Okay, so let's start the search. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. Wow, I just found one. That's the F major 7. Now this is the 4 in the key of C. All right, now let's try and apply the 2-5-1 principle here. Now, since this is our destination, now here's a formula. Your destination is always a 1. Okay, so even though F is playing the role of a 4 in the key of C, we'll have to think of it as a 1 in this split moment. Okay, now if F is 1, the 2 will be G, and the 5 will be a C. Okay, now on the 2, we already know we're supposed to play a minor 7, which is a G minor 7. On the 5, we're going to play the dominant 7, which is a C dominant 7. And then Well, I'm going to invert this. Now you need to learn your inversions to make playing easier. Okay, so we have our 2, G minor 7, our 5, C7, or C dominant 7, and now our 1, F major 7. Alright, now let's apply it. I'm going to play the song without the 2-5-1, and then I'm going to play it with the 2-5-1. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonderful to me. Now with the 2-5-1. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonderful. 2-5-1. 2-5-1. Did you see the magic? 2-5-1. Wow, you're already sounding like a pro. Now let's try it again. Without the 2-5-1. Now with the 2-5-1. Mind you, we're doing a major 2-5-1 because our destination chord is a major chord, or a major 7th chord. Okay, let's try it again. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonder. 2-5-1. Okay, now let's look for another 2-5-1 to make our song sound more fat. Okay, I'm going to look for a minor chord on which to play a 2-5-1. So let's go searching. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together one. Whoosh, on the wonderful. We have a minor chord on the wonderful. Okay, so what do? We think of the A minor as a 1 acting as a minor. Yeah, so a minor 2-5-1. Okay, now what will be our 2? It will be a B, and our 1, our 5 will be an E. And of course our 1 is the A. So we have the B as our 2, the E as our 5, and the 1 and the A as our 1. Alright, now let's move on to the chords. Now we know with a minor 2-5-1, the chords differ a bit. Well, the 2 chord is a bit different. Instead of the regular minor chord, minor 7, we're going to play the minor 7 flat 5. So we have the B minor 7 flat 5, or the B half diminished. They are all the same chord. I'm going to invert that. Inversions are very important. Let's move on to our 5. We have E. We're going to play an E dominant 7. I'm inverting it. So our first chord, a B half diminished, and an E dominant 7. And finally, our A minor 7. Okay, let's apply it now. I'm going to play the song without the 2-5-1 and play it with the 2-5-1. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonderful to me. Now with the minor 2-5-1. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together one. 2-5-1. Okay, let's do it again. A 2-5 and a 1. All right. So now we're going to play both 2-5-1s, the major and the minor. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonderful to me. Now with the 2-5-1, you're all together lovely, all together worthy, all together wonderful to me. Okay, I'm going to play it really slowly. You're all together lovely, all together worthy, 2-5-1, 2-5-1, all together lovely, all together worthy, all together. 2-5-1. Another 2-5-1. Again, here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're all together lovely, all together worthy. Now we're 2-5-1 and a 2-5 and the 1. Wow, 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 you're already sounding like a pro. Okay, so that's the 2-5-1 progression for you. I've taught you the minor 2-5-1, I've taught you the major 2-5-1. See you in the next lesson.